Welcome back to beautiful Fountain Hills, Arizona. We are tuning in for round 3 of the Memorial Championship presented by Discraft, and there has been some fantastic golf going on so far. If you'd like to see the big dogs bark, yesterday was your day. The top 16 players going into round 3 averaged 1062 yesterday. That's right, if you did not shoot over 1060, you were likely falling down the leaderboard. Only at the Memorial, folks. Now, the interesting thing is that they did it in several different ways. You can look at guys like Nikko and Ricky Wysocki, Dave Feldberg, Zach Melton. They got to their fantastic scores by being absolutely perfect inside of Circle 1. Well, maybe you look at it a different way. Drew Gibson, James Conrad, Peter McBride, Grady Shue, they had their fantastic scores because they were over 50% from Circle 2. But on the whole, all of these guys were giving themselves putts on just about every hole. For these 16 players, the lowest rating for getting to Circle 2 in regulation, that means that you're inside of Circle 2 and still putting for birdie, the lowest percentage was 76. But they averaged 85% in this statistic. This statistic is important because it shows how well everybody is getting off of the box. And they were doing it in an incredible way. Looking at the lead card, there was some pretty cool stuff going on. You may have heard about a conversation that Ricky and Nikko were having about dance steps, right? If not, tune into Reddit or any of the disc golf debate websites. But you probably saw Ricky go back-to-back Circle 2 putts on the second half of the round. Not to be outdone, Nikko went back-to-back-to-back. That's right, 3 Circle 2 putts in a row on the second half of the round. KJ, on the other hand, on the lead card, just had an absolutely casual round. He was never really under stress. He never really had anything fantastic going on, but he ended up at 9 down, a couple of birdies and a par, a couple of birdies and a par, and he never had an outside the circle par putt to make. Just a casual walk through the park. Johnny, on the other hand, was struggling on the lead card. He had trouble getting off the box, and he was constantly giving himself long putts for par, and he came in with very few birdies, relatively speaking, as well as a few bogey strokes, which is not anything that you can do on a course like this. Now, let's look at another. McBeth is leading it off, and remember when we thought after the first half of the first round that, oh man, maybe he's over the hill, maybe he's done for? Oh no, he's still in the lead by a stroke. Joining Paul on that card will be Eagle McMahon, Simon Lizotte, Nikko Locastro. You were talking about incredible champions on the first card. This is your absolute showcase card. The second card might be even more interesting because it has the absolute mixture of a bunch of fantastic golfers. We've got the 2-time world champ in Ricky Wysocki. We've got James Conrad, who everybody says he's the next big guy. Remember, he was coming up all of last year, impressing everybody with his play. You've got KJ Nybo. I think he's won the Danish championships for 147 years in a row. And then you've got the grizzled vet in Dave Feldberg, who may have played these courses more than anybody else in this tournament. The third card is the new wave of disc golf. These are all of the young names that you hear all the time. Peter McBride, Austin Turner, Grady Shue, Anthony Barella. Man, what a fantastic card to look at if you want to see what disc golf is going to be like in 5 to 10 years. And then the fourth card, man, these are the names that you have known for several years. These are the golfers that everybody loves to watch. Drew Gibson, Nate Sexton, Seppo Payu, and Zach Melton. The story on the FPO side yesterday was about the same. You had Paige extending her lead. Remember, she was tied with Katrina going into the round. She left with a 5-stroke lead on the field. And if looking at the round, you see what's kind of played out over the last couple of years. You've got a group of really great golfers, and then you've got one that has been playing lately head and shoulders better than the rest. Jennifer and Jessica both had solid rounds, 1 under on the front, 1 under on the back. However, Paige, during that same stretch, she was 3 under on the front and 3 under on the back. She's just able to take strokes away from her competitors relatively consistently. And the same thing happened today. While she had a relatively slow start, only 1 under through the first 5 holes, Jennifer came out hot and was 3 under through the first 6. She was catching those strokes back. They both struggled around the mid-round today, but coming home, the home stretch, Paige bore down and sprinted to the end and left everybody behind one more time. Paige ended her round today on a 5 birdie streak and takes her 5-shot lead, grows it out to 7 shots, going back to the course from yesterday that she built her 5-shot lead on. She is looking very strong to finish this tournament, and Jennifer, Jessica, and Lisa, who will be joining the lead card, are going to have rounds of their life if they're going to go out and do it. I, for one, very much look forward to that chase and that finish. Talk about a fun card. So are you ready for some fantastic golf today? Wherever you are, wherever you can tune in, if you're anywhere nearby to come and watch in person, come on out to Fountain Hills, Arizona. We are going to have a fantastic time today.
Flashlight LED disc golf discs just changed the game. The unique Disco Select feature allows everyone to choose their own color by simply pressing the middle button, then pressing it again during the first rotation of colors when the one you want appears. Or you can leave it in disco mode, rotating through the 6 different colors for the duration of your game. Designed by serious professionals, crafted from Night Eye's unrivaled sure grip material, and featuring Night Eye's patented fiber optics array, these discs strike the perfect balance of durability, stability, performance, and just plain awesomeness. With easily replaceable batteries and an uber-long life, the Flash Flight driver, mid-range, and putter will shine as they blaze your path to victory, day or night. Night Eyes. Discover your solution.
Okay, I'm here with Jen from Zuka Carts, and Jen, you've got something new there behind you. Tell us about this new product.
It was Steve's idea to launch our compact disc golf cart with the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So the compact disc golf cart, as you can see, is a little bit shorter. The foam tires, the telescoping handle, the seat you can sit on. So we put a disc golf rack in there. So there's a soft rack that's inside the unit, and a shelf. So you could put these mini pouches on the shelf. I've filled them here with first aid and other things, but you can fill them with whatever you want, and they'll fit on the shelf right up here. And you can put the other pouch on top as well, or you can put it in one of the side pockets, but plenty of options for storage. We also put extra large water bottle holders on the back. The price point, it's going to be $199. And the first 100 units will sell through exclusively through the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
So 2 things. I have a Zuka cart myself, and I love the fact that you've got enlarged water bottle holders, because now it will hold those kind of giant Tempercraft bottles and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally appreciate that. So what was it that you were hearing from golfers that you thought we need to come up with a smaller version?
Well, there were some disc golfers that said they didn't need to carry up to 30 discs, that they wanted a cart with a smaller footprint that could still break down for travel, so you could still take the wheels off. But they only carry 10, 12 discs, mm-hmm. So this cart is perfect for that.
So if somebody is interested in getting one, number one, what all's available, and then number 2, where do they find them at?
So we're initially going to have black bags with different color frames, and in celebration of the fact that we're selling this initially through the Disc Golf Pro Tour, the colors are red, blue, and black for the frames. I believe they went on sale last night, so you can get the first 100 units with a very specially designed certificate that says you're one of the first 100 compact disc golf cart purchasers, and you'll be able to get it from the Disc Golf Pro Tour put in your pre-order with the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and we'll be shipping them in the April timeframe. Love the fact that you get all kinds of people playing disc golf, men, women, young, old. It's a very accessible sport. And so our goal is to support all disc golfers. So you've seen us come out with a number of different products over the past few years. It's really been a response to the feedback that we've gotten from disc golfers in terms of what they need. So we love hearing that, and we want to design a product that fits your needs, which is why we've got different products, different sizes, different prices, price points. And we also have things like the backpack cart that will allow you to carry the bag that you already have in an easier way that keeps the weight off your back when that works for you. So, you know, we hope to we've got a number of things that are being tested right now from people who have volunteered to give us feedback on products. So we're hoping to come out with more accessories this year. There will be accessories for the compact disc golf cart available through the Disc Golf Pro Tour shortly. And we'll be having other accessories available throughout this year. So keep the feedback coming. We love hearing from you.
I bet a ton of disc golfers' ears just perked up when they thought, maybe I could be a beta tester for Zuka.
Call me. We want to hear from you.
Hey there, I'm Keith Murray, Tournament Director of the Memorial Championship presented by Discraft. We're at Spinners on the Green in Scottsdale, Arizona. I just want to welcome everybody here to town. Good luck this week. Come by and see us at the shop. We got 10% off for all tournament competitors and even the folks coming out to watch. So check us out online as well, spinnersonthegreen.com, and have fun watching Smashbox TV.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job.
For me, it's fun.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Day 3 of the 2018 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and we have a very special guest and co-commentator, World Champion Nate Dawson. Nate, like we caught up with you yesterday, it's kind of bittersweet you're here. We love that you can help out on the broadcast, but ultimately you had to withdraw yesterday for the first time in your career due to a shoulder injury?
Correct, yeah. It's just sort of an unknown injury. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of opinions, and I don't think I'll ever hear two of them that are exactly the same. So, you know, for now, it was, I think, the best decision for me and the future of the season for me, really. This is one tournament. We got a whole season left. But I'm excited, again, to be commentating. This is something that I want to be able to give back and give the fans out there the perspective of the players. I was here all week preparing. You know, I played, you know, with you guys on Wednesday. So it's a great day out here. It's a beautiful day for disc golf, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, right now we are opening things up. They're running just a couple minutes behind, which is why you're seeing some action from the chase card on hole number 2. And our lead card, our featured card, is going to be teeing off here in just a few moments on hole number 1. Very historic hole number 1 for lots of reasons, yourself included. How many other top professionals can say they've had a 7-stroke swing on one particular hole?
Well, I don't think very many, but I know that on this hole you can get an 8 and you can get a 1 and everything in between. So, you know, it's always, hole 1 is probably, this is one of the most exciting first holes in all of disc golf. So it's really cool, you know, to see these players, you know, really have to get through this, and then of course play a course that really just requires a lot of birdies, go low. I think definitely a double digits number is what we're going to have to see today for the person that's going to stay in the lead, and I don't expect anything less, especially with the way the weather is.
All right, well, I believe our group is getting ready on 1, and as soon as they are good to go, we'll be ready to go. Looking forward to a great day. This is the 3rd day. We're out here on Friday. A little bit different format. So many years we've been finishing out here on Fountain Hills course, playing 2 at Vista, 2 at Fountain. This year it was switched up a little bit. Do you think that changes the context of the event at all?
Well, I think it's a great point that you make. I think a lot of the fans that have been used to watching the Memorial are used to seeing this be the final round. A lot of aggressive play, a lot of birdies, but really this is moving day. These guys are back on the tee thinking right now, I got to go low, especially with the way the weather conditions are. I almost know that they were out in the practice field, not worrying about how windy it was going to be, but really worrying about putting it in close, not having to make too many big putts, and just really go low, because tomorrow is going to be a big day at Vista. It's a much more challenging course, so it's going to be exciting, and yeah, but it is definitely a different feel. There's no question about it.
Well, I think they're going to be getting ready in a few moments. We are actually standing on the green of hole number 1. And I know they were just trying to pace things out. This course historically has a little bit of a backup that we always encounter on hole number 8. That's the second and final par 4 of the course. And I think we're just trying to get things going so that the pace is just right for the day.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the players maybe take some time and look around. It's an absolutely beautiful location, one of the most beautiful we play in all year. Definitely, I just love playing out here, looking at all the mountains, but I hate when that fountain goes off because it affects the wind. But we'll be talking a lot about that throughout the day.
Well, and speaking of the wind, we feel it right now. It was relatively calm just a half hour ago, and now we feel a little bit of the wind pick up on us. It's maybe a 5 to 10 at the moment. I don't think we're going to see it get much beyond that, but here we are moving into an afternoon, and we know anything can happen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the fountain always seems to pick up a little breeze as the afternoon comes around. The wind here is actually pretty much perfect for this hole. It's a little bit of a right to left over the players' shoulders, but they should be able to swing it in. We just saw the second card play this hole. 3 of the 4 were inside the circle, and Ricky was inside the circle. He just happened to sneak out of bounds. So it's, again, the breeze is going to be a factor, something we talk about, but ultimately I don't think it's going to be, you know, something that affects these guys too much.
Well, we're talking about some of the sport's most elite players. We saw Paul McBeth make a charge, as he's so customarily done, and the few times he's actually behind the lead, that is. Made a charge yesterday, finds himself up on the lead card, and I think he's won this like 29 times more than he's been alive. I don't know, but this is really an event that he's usually dialed in for.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're seeing Paul just throw his first tee shot here on hole 1 in the 3rd round at the Memorial Championship. It looks exactly what he wanted. A little long, curls back inside the circle. But yes, Paul is so confident here. He's had so many big moments, big putts, shooting 17 under, all those things. He's going to go back into all of those memory banks and really just tap into those, and I think we're going to see a good round from him today.
And Simon Lizotte, who did a little off-season training we saw over there overseas, him and Eagle McMahon. We'll see both of them here today, and Simon no stranger to big hyzers. He's playing that one out just a bit wide. He's not going to get a skip. It kicks up some dirt. He's looking at a death putt. There's no way Simon's going to lay up from there.
Oh, no way. Yeah, Simon's going to definitely be going for that one. Something to mention about this group as we see Eagle come up to the tee. You know, this is a group that, you know, we have basically the world's greatest player in McBeth. And we have Simon and Eagle, who are just young guns, did a lot of off-season, a lot of stuff. You see him on social media all the time. Of course, Nikko Locastro, the young, well, getting a little older now, but, you know, fireball, pistol kind of guy. And it should be a good group. A little inside.
That's not going to stick in bounds. And we did not see that cross. This is really advantage point that I'm not used to having, standing right here looking at the OB line, and that's always really a tough call, is does it clear any of the inbounds area, because that can make a big difference as to where you're going to get your lie to try and save your par, and I think he's way back there.
It's actually nice to see the perspective of the spotter here, because he actually really can't see if it crossed or not, and Eagles did not cross. This one is also inside. It's going to be interesting. This might spike.
Oh, look at that.
Which it did. That was a great shot by Eagle. I mean, still risky, but, you know, he's young, he's confident, he's ready to go. It's a little bit of an unforced error, especially on hole 1, but standing on that tee, I can tell you, all you're thinking is don't throw it in the water, and sometimes that is exactly what happens.
And Eagle was trying to save the par from back on the tee. What a shot. A few years ago, I think we saw an OB shot off the tee, and then it skipped up and hit basket. Here's Nikko Locastro, and he's hanging out plenty of wide. He's playing for a little bit of skip. We'll see if he gets it, and hits off the tree and kicks backwards. That's not going to help him out, but we do have the women's, the FPO lead card action. Let's get to that now, right here on hole 1 at Fountain Hills.
And welcome to the FPO lead card here for day number 3 at Fountain Hills, Arizona. Paige Pierce is your current leader, teeing off on hole number 1. That's a pro move way out to the right. She's going to play the skip, and it needs to stop, but just trickles over the edge into the water. She's OB with a very short putt. Jennifer Allen's going to play the same line a little bit higher. She's hoping it's going to check up. Plays it off the hillside. She's looking at a birdie putt from there. Jessica Weiss with the backhand. She plays that way wide to the right. She's not taking any chances of finding the water on the opening hole. And Sarah Hokum's forehand is going to do the exact same thing. She's playing that way wide to the right. She'll be happy with the 3 here. Jennifer Allen from just inside the circle cards the birdie. Paige Pierce was lucky enough to be close enough to the basket with just a 10-footer to try and save her par. She'll bring it in the 1 meter. Walks away from hole 1 with a par.
And welcome back to the green of hole number 1. Nikko Locastro's just inside circle 2. I think he's contemplating if he wants to give this a run or just lay it up. Is that a half commitment there, Nate?
Yeah, I think he definitely was thinking he was going to go for that. Of course, we saw him putt really well at the end, so I don't think he was thinking anything but going in, but of course with that water there, it always kind of gets a little scary.
And an opening putt by Simon Lizotte, carding the birdie on hole 1. We knew he wasn't laying up.
Yeah, not surprising at all. Simon is such a great spin putter. This is a perfect actual putt to have a spin putt on. Just give it a little pop at it, and dead center for Simon. Great start.
And no surprise, McBeth opening also with the birdie here on hole 1.
Yeah, it's always interesting on hole 1, really. You know, a 3 is not a bad thing at all, but you know, when the other guys are 2ing, you really want to get it. But really, this is one of those ones you just avoid an 8, like I couldn't a few years ago, and move on to the next hole. We have a now par 4 coming up, one of the only par 4s on the course. One that is actually a pretty tough 3, but definitely gettable.
We'll be back in a moment after a word from our sponsors. And welcome back. We are here on hole number 2, just waiting for a couple of spectators to clear out of harm's way. Not that a shot should find where they were sitting, but you don't want to take any chances.
Yeah, they were just here to watch the fountain. There are a couple of people. The fountain is very popular, and people like to see it from the edge. So they graciously moved for the players. Hole 2 is one that we see usually a lot of different tee shots. We can see a sidearm, the low hyzer, the high hyzer. McBeth usually goes with the low hyzer.
He's gone sharp edge. I believe that's a destroyer. I think he's actually playing for the skip there.
Yeah, absolutely. I throw the same thing. I throw a high-speed driver, my force, and just try to play that skip right into the middle. I try to make the harder shot, the second shot on this hole. Don't put myself in any danger. Simon is going huge off of this tee, as he always seems to impress, and that's like perfect as long as it's inbounds.
What a crush by Lizotte. The turnover off the tee here on 2.
Kind of shows you that having the distance can really make the second shot easier. As I was just mentioning, I like to make the second shot the harder shot, but for some reason Simon just, he can't help himself. He loves to entertain.
I think he might be punished with a bogey, or correction, with a OB stroke there, though. We'll see.
We did see no reaction from the spotter, but it's possible. Nikko right in the middle. That's, again, we just saw 3 players, 3 different shots, and now we're going to see our 4th player and our 4th shot. That's exactly how this hole usually plays out. 4 guys, 4 different throws, but all really looking to do the same thing. Put themselves in position for the 3.
And Eagle McMahon flirting with that left side wall, but puts himself right in the center of the fairway. Let's see how the women did earlier on 2.
Jennifer Allen has the tee as we move over to hole number 2. She carded the lone birdie on the opening hole.
Oh!
Smashing right into the tree. The women are playing to a ladies' basket, shorter than what we've seen for the men's rounds. Paige Pierce is up the middle, staying clear of any of the trouble. OB pond on the left side. A very errant shot could also go OB that parallels with hole number 3's fairway. Holcomb plays the same forehand route we saw by Jessica. Jessica opts for the backhand for the approach. And that's got a little too much angle. It skips, hits the ground, and then falls into the water. She's OB on her second shot. Holcomb sticks to the forehand, plays it out and over the water. And right next to the pin, she's looking at a birdie, and Jessica can't get up and down. She's going to card the bogey 5 here on hole number 2. Holcomb the tap in for 3s. The other 2 par.
So the players are actually just talking about all the birds actually at the green. Kind of Nikko said, hey, will somebody run up there and move them? There's a guy on a bike heading up there. You can see the birds are now moving their way. Our cameraman Rick up there helping out with the efforts. There was a bird that was hit just on Wednesday. There are quite a few birds out here, so the players just being very wary of that.
Sportsmanship of the year.
First to play will be Paul McBeth. He's got another high-speed disc, probably something just overstable. He's looking to play it just around the single palm tree, just to the right of the basket. He might have even hit the palm trees, right at the palm tree. Palm tree's usually just outside the circle here. So he's going to have a putt for a 3.
Nate, it's all about the angle here as they're coming in. Not only do they want to miss the birds, but of course you just don't want too much of a flare because it can very quickly filter down to the pond on the left side. Nikko seemed to have navigated that exactly where you wanted to be.
Yeah, as I mentioned with Paul's shot, they're looking to go just outside that palm tree. That palm tree is a great visual for the players. If they land it just to the right, it usually skips right up to the pin. If they go inside it, they might hit that side hill, and then it can filter all the way down to the water.
We'll see if Eagles is going to get around. Either way, it's coming in nice and soft. So whether he was just inside or just outside of the palm in that case, looked like a mid-range or relatively soft touch there.
Yeah, he actually took a standstill, which was awesome to see him do that. Staying under control. He felt like he had plenty of distance on it. Throwing a mid-range with the Oregon Ducks logo on it. That was pretty awesome. Good shot by Eagle there. We're going to go up and see if Simon's out of bounds. I think he might have ended up out of bounds over there.
And with this much distance, Simon looks like he'll be pulling himself back in bounds. But this much distance, this is still a relatively easy par for him to get. He's going to probably get up and down, take the 4. Not too mad about taking a 4 here.
Not really, but it's frustrating. He knows that if he can just, which he just did, nestle it in there, he's going to get his par, move on to the next hole.
And a great gallery, of course, as we're moving down the fairway. We anticipate not only this size, but much larger as we're down at Vista del Camino tomorrow for our final round. Of course, you can join us 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time tomorrow. Looking forward to bringing you the conclusion here of the 2018 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. seemed to just smack that down at the last moment. Definitely a factor here on that putt for McBeth and birdie.
Yeah, wind meter telling us that was a tailwind there, and Paulie just had to put it up, but the wind just smashed it down. Eagle, short birdie putt, nice, good for Eagle.
Good recovery after hole number 1. Hopefully he can get on track here. And Nikko with a tap in here for hole number 2.
Yeah, going quickly back to Eagle, you know, he went 3-4 or 4-3. Either way, you know, he can move on with that, and now he's going to look to string some 2s along after this.
Eagle birdied all 9 of his back 9 during the opening round here. I'm sure he'd love to duplicate that effort as we watch Simon and Paul both tap in for their 4s. We'll see you from hole number 3 in just a few moments.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Steve Dodge. This is the Next Generation Tour.
If you didn't take the Next Gen Tour seriously, you definitely should come in future years because it's only going to get better.
Yeah, man. Let's do this, guys.
They're up-and-coming superstars.
Go to a local level, then you qualify for your regional level, then you qualify for a national level. The prizes get bigger, and the pressure gets tougher.
I just, I get goosebumps thinking about it. It was a really, really good time.
Simon Lizotte with the honors, asking one of the spectators to step aside for his hyzer route.
We actually have to mention that with Simon keeping the tee, he must have been inbounds over there, so that had to have been a birdie. That's our mistake. We didn't have a great view of it. He's hung it out wide, right on the line.
And we're getting the safe sign from some spectators down at the basket.
So just from the player's perspective, this is quite short hole, just under 300 feet. But we're mostly going to see drivers because the prevailing wind here is typically right into their heads. We're going to see usually drivers thrown right along that OB line trying to just swing it in.
Nikko's asking for it to sit off. There is an OB line on that left side. He's come up short of it. He'll have a wind pushing from left to right as he's putting. We'll see if that has any skip for Eagle. He's out to the right and past the basket. He'll have a tailwind putt, wind coming over his back.
Yeah, it's always funny as a player. I bet he was worried a little bit there. Nothing to worry about, but it always looks like it might be a little too long and go OB.
McBeth making an adjustment, going a little bit higher. Skips left. Let's see how the women did earlier on 3.
Holcomb's birdie on hole number 2 keeps her tied with Jennifer Allen. They're both 1 down for the round. And she's turned that over right out of her hand. She's pushing toward the OB found on the left side, just outside circle's edge. And that's out of bounds. The dogs look on. Jennifer Allen's low line drive puts herself right next to the basket. Paige Pierce says it's wide as it comes out of her hand. We'll see if she can get enough of a skip to the pin. That's going to leave her inside 25 feet for birdie. And Jessica opting for the backhand again. She's got plenty of room for the forehand. She goes backhand and flirts with the OB on the left side. She'll be safe. Looking outside the circle. And bang, bang for Jessica.
Elevated basket, no big deal. Simon Lizotte, birdie here on hole number 3.
We've seen this many times. Simon Lizotte locked in. He's ready to go today. You can really tell that his putting is on point. Nice strong finish right into the heart of the basket.
Eagle a little bit on that left side, not quite as strong and confident as we just saw from Simons, but that really brings up a great point, Nate. When you see Simon Lizotte get his putter hot, it seems like he just throws them in from everywhere, and he does it so nonchalantly.
Yeah, as a competitor competing against him, when you start seeing those putts go right into the heart of the basket, you know you're in for a long day and a lot of battling. Try to keep up with him.
And Nikko sporting his Disc Golf Pro Tour shirt today, looking good in the red polo. This is McBeth to complete the star frame. And routine, of course, 4 birdies in 4 attempts. We'll see you on hole 4.
Oh, I see. Oh, so this is another spot?
Yeah, go check it out.
Welcome back. We're here on the tee of hole number 4. Simon Lizotte, perfect so far, 3 for 3.
Yeah, this hole should be pretty easy for somebody like Simon. It's a nice big hyzer, play it wide. There was an addition of an OB area down there where there's those 2 trees on the right. There is an OB around that, but he's got it spiked. Oh,
wow, surprisingly short.
Yeah, he hit the tree there. We hear some clapping from the crowd. It might have given him a decent putt.
He's just 6 feet away, Nate. He gets a really good roll on that, and he's basically parked. What a shot.
Yeah, not surprising. The way I was playing this was into that tree and hoping for the best of the luck, but that tree's just gotten so big over the years. It's really just a good aiming point.
Nikko with a lower line drive here. He's asking for it to get up just a little bit. It's coming in really hot, and it hits the tree but stays in bounds. Nikko looking at a birdie putt down there.
Yeah, it looked like he just snuck through those 2 trees on the right that is in that OB area. But he, that was a little bit more risky going low. But that's the name of the game. You got to cut it close.
I think throughout the day we're going to see a lot of similar shots and approaches that you get out of both Eagle and Simon. And it rolls, but the gallery likes it.
Yeah, the players were up here wondering what was going on, waiting for the reaction. It took a little longer than you'd hoped for, but as long as he's in bounds, that's all that matters.
Is that enough power from McBeth? He hung it really high.
I think it's going to be. He's going to be up on the left side, but we got to remember that's a wide open putt from up there.
Let's check in with the FPO lead card on 4.
Jennifer Allen has the box. She's 2 under, trying to hunt down Paige Pierce as we move over to the ladies basket on hole number 4. Not enough distance for Jennifer Allen. I'm not sure she was ready to attack that pin. Meanwhile, Jessica Weiss flirts with the OB. That's exactly what Allen was trying to avoid, but Jessica just sneaks on. She'll have a long uphill approach from there. Paige Pierce has the luxury. She can just go right over everything. And sticks it. She's looking at a putt from inside the circle. Holcomb again turns over her drive, and she flirts with the OB. She stays in bounds here. She's got a little more work to do. She's looking at a downhill slant. And it catches a little bit of skip.
Oh my gosh.
She's going to have to work for her par as she's coming back at it. Paige Pierce, meanwhile, is putting for birdie. And just a bit short. Paige's putter not doing the work on the first 3 holes for her. And Holcomb walks away with a bogey.
What an error here by McBeth as that catches wind and carries up over the basket, out of bounds. Do you believe what you just saw there, Nate?
No, I actually don't. Paul typically does not make those types of mistakes. One thing that I did notice playing with him on Wednesday is that his putting is not as locked in as we're used to from McBeth. And actually, over the first 2 events of the year, I think if he was putting as we usually are used to, he might have won both of those. So, interesting error. We'll see how he reacts. But he made some mistakes even on Wednesday here and still shot a good round. So.
And Nikko's battling with trying to get his best position here with regards to a couple of large electrical transformer boxes.
Yeah, the world famous fountain here requires quite a bit of electricity. That's what these boxes are actually for. You can tell his disc actually rolled to that area as it was standing up on the concrete right below the electrical box.
Momentarily he had it held upside down. He was thinking about throwing it with a reverse hold.
Yeah, T-Dog, we're seeing putting stance number 3 here. Of course, he's forced to do this one. It's, a lot of, okay.
And as you heard, there's a few people that are actually trying. There's a white car that's trying to spectate. Meanwhile, a red car behind it got all worked up. I didn't hear what Nikko yelled at it.
Well, I don't think Nikko said anything. It sounded like the driver in the red car was a little bit aggravated. Of course, disc golf's getting more popular, and the person in the white car just wanted to watch.
And Nikko's up on top, and after all of that, unfortunately, doesn't convert on the birdie. I think they can update the PDJ commercial and say something like, "For me, it's a car accident waiting to happen."
Definitely. That was interesting. It's, it's always, it kind of sucks when that happens, but, that's just the name of the game at this point.
And Eagle McMahon from inside 15 feet. Paul McBeth, as you said, we're going to have to see how he reacts to this. We're going to have a long walk over to hole 5. I'm guessing he'll have a little bit of a pep talk with himself as we move over to 5. Not the start we'd expect from McBeth here during this 3rd round.
Yeah, on Wednesday he threw in the water off the very first tee shot, and it was just surprising. You can see that Paulie is frustrated with himself, but he's a 4-time world champion, and I know Paul very well. He'll be just fine. He'll make some putts.
Long walk. We'll see you over on the tee of 5.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job.
For me, it's fun.
These are the top 5 approach shots from the 2017 Memorial, presented by Discraft. Number 5, Paul McBeth. Number 4, Cale Lizotte on the par 4 hole 7. Number 3, Philo Brown.
Sounds like 400-ish from here. Distance driver. Yeah, I think so.
Hole 4.
That's such a good shot. Yeah, perfect shot.
Number 2, Jessica Weiss on the par 4 hole 8.
Oh, that was nasty. Well done.
And our number 1 approach, Sarah Hokum, hole 6.
Also forehanded. No overstable man right here.
Cut.
Oh, what?
Oh!
Yeah. Sarah.
372 feet here on hole number 5. Simon Lizotte a little bit short.
Yeah, our pro wind meter presented by Nate Doss is showing a left or right. It's a really tricky hole, especially with the left or right. The road really comes into play. Simon's just outside the circle, right near it probably, but he's not happy with that. But with the way his putting's been, you know, we'd expect him to make that.
Eagle going with a mid-range as it just gently floats to the pin. Again, 372 feet. This hole has been averaging 2.85 today. The 10th most difficult, otherwise known as the 8th easiest.
Okay, yeah. Surprised at 372 feet as a player. We don't look at the distances too often, but Eagle showed exactly what you're supposed to do. Control the distance. Through a mid-range there, it's a perfect shot.
And Nikko flexing something very overstable, and that's a flat-out misfire by Nikko. Not a good shot.
We would call it the classic overthinking it. He actually threw a driver like on an S line, which I don't understand why he did that. Maybe he just doesn't feel confident with other distance bag on this hole, but yeah, total misfire on that one.
And Paul McBeth throwing a mid-range. I believe that's a rock. It's coming up short, not getting much ground play. Let's see how the women did to the ladies' pin on hole 5.
Looking at the top 10, Kona Panis shooting the hottest round at 2 under par. And Jennifer Allen's on the tee of hole 5 with a turnover that's a little bit short. Jessica goes to the reliable forehand, puts herself inside the circle. No wind to speak of at 10 in the morning. Much warmer than we saw the previous day out here at Fountain Hills, and Sarah Hokum's forehand looks good. Jennifer Allen has a circle one birdie attempt, but doesn't draw any medal. Paige Pierce from inside 20 feet converts on the birdie. Jessica has the same distance, also takes the birdie. And Sarah Holcomb from less than 15 feet rounds it up.
And McBeth is low on his putt. He is just a foot or two from where we saw Simon Lizotte land, but McBeth, not much of a run there. And the hyzer spin putt, no problem. Simon Lizotte is on a tear here through 5 holes.
Just as we anticipated back from the tee, both of those guys were short, just outside the circle. McBeth playing really fast. I was very surprised there. I don't know if he was concerned about the wind, but Simon stepping up right in the heart. These guys are in trouble today if he can continue on and just play his game. T-square, we got the 4th putting style from Nikko. He's now putting straddle to the right side. You know, he actually put himself in position to actually make a putt here, but still that misfire off the tee was concerning.
And he knew it as he started to walk it in halfway there. He's pointing at it, slamming it in. Nikko told me yesterday as we closed out the day he was fired up, he's focused, he is ready to take down a big win, and that was a solid putt to show just that. And Eagles tapping in for the easy birdie. So we're going to see 3 birdies on this card, and your leader up at the beginning of the day, Paul McBeth, is falling behind. He's going to have to pick things up here, otherwise these guys are going to run away with it. Short walk to hole 6. And the hyzer spin putt, no problem. Simon Lizotte is...
Someone missed the memo.
And a few moments ago, Dixon Jowers just asked that the crowd maintains their good behavior. And an older couple just about walked out in front of Simon. Simon going spike hyzer. It's all about that one hitting and stopping. And it's rolling down the hill, and that is out of bounds for Simon Lizotte. Oh, it sounds as if it maybe even hit a car tire. We'll see when we get down there.
Yeah, we're going to see the Eagles actually lining up for a shot named a grenade, where he's actually got this inverted in his hand. He's going to throw it. It's going to try to cut through the wind. I'm actually quite surprised here. He's played that pretty well. Ooh. As long as that sticks, that's perfect. You know, Simon making a mistake there, playing quickly. He landed on the side hill. Those never stick. A couple years ago, that middle gap opened up. I started throwing through the middle. The wind never was an issue. These guys are sticking with the spike hyzer. I think it's a risky play.
We saw Eagle McMahon stick right next to the basket. And that looks like Nikko Locastro is within 15 to 20 feet. Paul McBeth with his favorite champion, Archangel. Go out and get one today. That's going to be short. Let's see how the women did on 6.
Paige Pierce sits at 9 under par, just 1 down for the round. We don't see anyone else chasing her down at the moment. Jessica Weiss's forehand plays out to the left side of the trees, directly in front of the tee, and she's got a very short putt for birdie. Paige is going to go for the hyzer around the same trees. It's all about angle. Does it sit? It gets a little bit of a roll, but she's still in putting distance. And Sarah Holcomb's busting out the backhand, playing to the left side of the pin. She's on top of the mound. She'll have a death putt from there. Jennifer Allen gets the great reverse skip and stick. Paige from just outside. No problems. That's another birdie. Her putter's heating up. Jennifer Allen also with the birdie.
Oh, and couldn't quite take full advantage of that car tire bounce back. Simon was in fact in bounds, and that's his first miss of the day.
Yeah, either way, that's one free stroke for Simon Lizotte. That could be something big come tomorrow afternoon. We'll see, but very fortunate for him. Nikko here lined up. The other 3 guys put it in pretty close. Nikko with a good putt there. He's wearing his Back to the Future pants there, his sweatpants. He's ready to rock and roll. He looks confident. McBeth picking up a birdie. Interesting just to watch McBeth through this round. He seemed frustrated early on. See if these few holes can settle him down.
And a short walk and an even shorter hole on 7. We'll see in a moment.
Tempercraft USA. Double-walled 18/8 stainless steel construction keeps it cold while you're hot, keeps it hot while you're cold. Get your customized growlers, tumblers, and sports bottles. With a lifetime warranty and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft USA. Temper your thirst.
Eagle McMahon with a putter in hand, and it looks to be parked. That's exactly how you want to play this hole.
Yeah, Pro Wind Meter presented by Nate Dosh. We have a straight left to right wind. And I want the fans to know out there that these players are not even looking at the water. If they're confident, they're just looking at the pin. Eagle threw the perfect putter shot. Nikko, it looks like he has a putter as well.
Nikko's got a little bit more air on that. That's tracking right at the basket and even closer than Eagle McMahon.
Yeah, perfect example of how that left to right wind really helped him. He put it up there. The nice touch. That was a great shot.
Paul throwing a Nova putter here. That's just a bit short, but that's going to come up and go past it. Comes in short. We'll see if there's any indicators from... I'm not seeing any kind of indicator from any spotter, and that is in fact out of bounds. Paul's going to be playing for the 3. Here's Simon Lizotte. Going to take a little off of that, and he's also going to be parked. So 3 park jobs and a struggling McBeth. Let's see the women on hole number 7.
Hole 7, one of the shortest holes at the Fountain Hills course, with Paige Pierce 10 under, Jennifer Allen 4 back at 6 down. And Jessica Weiss hits the tree. This is a lazy hyzer, usually with a putter or a mid-range, but Paige Pierce puts too much on it, goes past, and is found in the water. Jennifer splits the difference between the first two throws, but she's looking at a layup from way outside. And Sarah Holcomb takes the aggressive forehand route. She's looking at a short birdie putt. Paige is trying to save her par with the fountain in the background. Short and left.
Paul McBeth is going to lose a stroke to the rest of the group here, assuming we'll see 3 more birdies. And Simon's in for birdie. Eagle will be doing the same, and Nikko with a tap in. Will there be another putting stance?
Nope, that's still 4 for the round.
All right, we have a very little backup on 8. We'll see you there in a few moments.
What's up, guys? This is Course Cuts with Will Schustrick. We're on hole 18 of Fountain Hills Disc Golf Course in Fountain Hills, Arizona. Hole 18 plays 400 feet, slightly uphill, par 3, out of bounds at the top of the hill on the right, and there's also water, which is short left of the basket the entire way across the entire fairway. You see a lot of players looking for a left to right type of shot here. The left-handed player does have a slight advantage as they can throw a somewhat overstable disc. No matter what the wind is, the overstable disc is going to hold the line the entire way and kind of bank into that right to left sloping hill. The right-handed player is either looking for a fairly strong sidearm to bank into that hill, playing fairly safe. Sometimes, depending on the wind, they can throw a big right to left shot around those 2 trees on the right-hand side and skip off the top of the hill. That's a fairly safe play, especially if the wind is pushing from right to left. You see some of the bigger arms going with a mid-range off the tee and trying to land it flat so it doesn't skip or slide down the hill. A lot of players get into trouble on this hole because they either go with a driver or fairway, especially if it's a little bit windy. And right at the end of its flight, you see it kind of carry down the hill towards the water and just barely slide in. Also on this hole becomes a very mental challenge because there is a huge gallery typically behind the basket watching as players finish their last hole. And a lot of players are really trying to get that extra birdie to kind of bump themselves up in the standings. But it's also very easy to take a 4-5 on this hole. I'm going to expect a lot of players to play fairly safe, get about a 40 to 50 foot putt on this hole if they're coming down the stretch with this good score. Thanks for watching this Course Cuts with Prodigy Course Design.
Nate both Eagle and Nikko Locastro are 5 down through the first 7. Simon Lizotte 6 down through 7, and that's just about a perfect shot by Eagle here.
Yeah, definitely. Hole 8 here is one of the more difficult of the entire course. It's a par 4 that plays around a big tree and then to a peninsula. You know, again, these guys wanted 3 this hole, but it can be difficult.
Nikko's going to clear the tree, so that looks like he'll still be in good position. I'm not sure he had as clean of a release as he was hoping for, but he's in really good position, and I'm looking forward to see where Simon throws this. Simon actually has to worry about the water that can come into play if he throws it too far, believe it or not.
We need to see how they react to this. We see clapping up there. I think you said it exactly right, Tito. These guys can throw so far that water actually comes into play. I think they're actually backing off from what they could really do.
And as McBeth sits just 2 down, he's going to have to find it. This might be the catalyst to get him going. If that stops short of the water, everyone's watching. Let's see how the women did on the par 4 hole 8.
Kona Panis continues to make her charge, sitting 4 under and moved up to a tie for 5th place. Hole 8 is a par 4, 573 feet to a peninsula green. Jessica Weiss putting herself in a great position until it hits the tree and sticks. And Jennifer Allen's going to take full advantage of her distance off the tee. That's in great position to attack a pin. Paige Pierce has a clear advantage on a hole with this much distance, but she hits the same tree as Weiss. And at that point, from that position, there's nothing more than a par you can be playing for. Unless you're Paige Pierce and you're going for the green. She gets the skip, and she's looking at a birdie putt from about circle's edge. I don't think any other woman in the division would even attempt to go for that green from where Paige just was. And Jennifer Allen goes OB on her approach shot. She's laying up. She's underneath the basket. Sarah Hokum, after a great approach shot, looks at a birdie putt off the edge. She'll be tapping in for the par. And Paige Pierce can take a birdie, except for it hits top left chain and just falls out. That's one that slips by her. She'll remain at 9 under par.
Contemplating which mid he's going with. Needs a little bit more power. That was very overstable.
Yeah, T-Bell, the only thing on that one was really execution. Nikko actually ended up a little bit more left, forcing him to throw straight at it, but he's fine. The way he's been putting, he should make that.
A routine approach. I know that is a daunting green, as this and the next hole are, but that's a routine approach here for Eagle McMahon. It should be for McBeth, who's actually lining up a lunging jump putt.
Yeah, McBeth playing quickly. That doesn't matter. He's parked. I've been playing here a lot, Terry, and this is probably the best grouping of drives I've seen to date. This is they've made this hole play very, very easy.
Simon able to give it a run, and he stays in bounds. That flirted with the OB a little bit. I think this place would have erupted if we saw an eagle by Simon here.
That would have been amazing. Good run by Simon. I think that was actually, you know, that's just perfect for him. He loves spin putting it from the long ways. He usually is good for 1 or 2 long ones.
I don't want to compliment myself just yet, but I have yet to call Simon Eagle or Eagle Simon. I'm doing quite well here today, Nate.
You are doing a lot better today, T-Dog. I think the nerves wore off from me being around, but we're having a good time. Great weather for playing disc golf. These guys are really just putting on a show. The crowd is great. We're having a blast.
Just one surprising factor that Paul McBeth has not been himself in the early goings. Nikko here is lining up for a birdie straddled out to the left. And Nikko with his first miss of the round.
I know we're talking a lot about McBeth here, but I think it is interesting to watch how he's really managed his game today. I'm just looking at him across the way here. He just seems a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit frustrated with himself. But, you know, Paul's very good at firing himself up. He has a lot of history. But really, the thing we should be talking about is Simon and Eagle. These guys are just doing great.
And funny enough, Simon was lining up for his putt, and then off in a distance, his pal Eagle was running off to retrieve his mini. So Simon halted for a moment so the distraction would end, which was Eagle. And now Eagle is left with about 10 feet for the birdie as well. So we'll see 3 birdies and a par. Still very impressive here on hole number 8. The last of the par 4s out here at the Fountain Hills course. Nate, I think we're in for a good show. We're going to catch up with the second card in a few moments. They're over on hole number 9, so we'll bring you some bonus coverage. You're watching the 2018 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft.
This is Dan, and this is Tyler. Dan and Tyler like disc, and they like beer, so they combine them in a rigorous scientific process. Disc Golf, a card game that challenges your disc skills, drinking ability, and your friendships. With 3 categories and over 50 individual cards, mix and match. Get rid of cards you don't like, or make your own rules. Disc Golf is truly American.
Back it up.
I feel like we can come out with that.
All right, as we get everyone into position, we're going to give you a little extra action here. This is our chase card. James Conrad has the tee, sporting his in of a red today.
Yeah, interesting to see James with the backwards hat here. You know, it might actually be because that branch, the branch that they're teeing off underneath, is sort of a visual factor. So maybe he's got the hat backwards, so he's got a little bit better eye. Wind direction here, presented by Nate Doss. Again, left to right, we've had a very consistent wind going down the side of the park. This actually is a decent wind for going out at the green. We'll see how these guys take it.
James Conrad currently at 4 under par for the round. He's in a tie for 5th place at the moment. That looks like it's skipping past, but he's safe, and he'll have an approach from there. He's just playing for the 3 at that point. And Ricky Wysocki, I think Ricky's in need of making a move. This might be something to get him started. I think he's going to try and be aggressive on this pin. Let's see what he's got.
Yeah, on Wednesday, both Ricky and I stayed very aggressive on this hole. As long as that sits, that's a very similar spot that we landed just on Wednesday, and he can the putt there. He might be a little bit further, but Ricky's staying aggressive on this hole. This is a very interesting hole, everybody. This is a par 3. Obviously looks very daunting, but really from the tee, it's a full-out blast driver. So there's really not much going through the players' minds. The biggest mistake we end up making is actually not giving it enough power and ending up in that water.
KJ Nybo looks like he's pretty much just playing for the par there. He's going to hang it out wide right, try not to flirt with the OB water at all. And Nate, really, as you're saying, to no surprise, this is playing as the single most difficult hole relative to par here on the Fountain Hills course. It's averaging 3.42 as we watch 2008 world champion Dave Felber come short but skips up, and he's safe as these guys move down the fairway. Again, everyone should be checking out udisclive.com. Get all the information that you need. As we can follow along, we invite you to join us tomorrow for our conclusion here of the Memorial Championships. We're going to be over at Vista del Camino Park, and we're excited to do so.
So yeah, through 8 holes here, we really just, again, we've talked a lot about it already, but we've seen Simon Lizotte go nearly perfect. He just had 1 missed hole. Of course, he got a little bit lucky bouncing off the tire there. But, you know, it's interesting. I think Eagle has really begun to mature. I think the win last week really just gave him a boost of confidence. He hasn't backed down 1 step at all. And, you know, it's great to be out here, see these young guys doing exactly what they've been training all winter long to do. The Memorial Championship tends to be a little bit of like, you know, a microcosm of the tour. And it's usually we see some other players kind of step in there, but here we really just seen the guys that we think are going to be there at the World Championships this year taking the lead.
Well, and speaking of players that we maybe anticipate, and a few surprises even out there, there has been a single 2 on this hole here today, and it's none other than Joel Freeman. Now, that might not be a name that we talk about regularly here or in a podcast, but Joel Freeman busted out last weekend at Las Vegas, and now everyone should know his name. And so great to see Joel Freeman up until this point, which is 2 groups left to play, the only person to take a birdie 2 here on hole number 9. So Joel Freeman's getting some work done out there.
Yeah, and we're looking back at KJ back playing his second shot. It was his shot actually on this hole was really a little bit too safe in my opinion. He's put himself in a very difficult position. Now again, wind meter from here, he's throwing directly into a headwind. The fountain is off, so it's not too intense. Let's see how he handles it. It's got a little heat on it. And this is exactly what we were worried about. He pulled it to the right, that headwind pushed him, and he ended up out of bounds. So you can really see that the other 3 guys in this group took the more aggressive line, but they have the easier upshot.
Looks like they will be rewarded. Now, let's be very clear. You said easier upshot. This is still a tough upshot. It's just easier than what we just saw from KJ.
Yeah, if we want to use a term that is a little bit more politically correct, this is a clinching shot. Dave used the jump putt on that one, which is smart. But yeah, it's just one of those ones you want to nestle it up, putt it out, move on to the next hole. This is always that point of no return. We're playing hole 9 here. After this, every single hole must be a birdie opportunity for these players if they want to win this tournament.
A little bit of trivia for 0 Disc Golf Pro Tour points. We'll ask, what do you feel like was maybe the highest score taken out here today on hole number 9?
On hole number 9, boy, I would guess a 6 or a 7, just the way it typically plays out. For those of you who are watching the players play at this moment, we just saw James Conrad really do something that was very surprising. From an easy upshot, well, of course, easy in the relative term, he actually putted it quite far into the water. And really, Ricky reacted from that, I think, just stepping up, laying it up. That wind is probably a little bit more intense than we're feeling here. Of course, being on a peninsula, it's always a little bit more intense, right, T?
It can make everything more challenging and daunting out here. We know that everyone's trying to make their moves here on what is moving day, the third round of the tournament. The answer for the win is Timo Niskanen has the worst score here today, unfortunately, and he carded an unlucky 7.
That's exactly what I thought. Usually it's an OB off the tee and then an OB next shot and then maybe 2 missed putts at that point. Timo being a left-handed player, they put a mandatory on this hole. But either way, the mandatory or no mandatory is a very difficult hole for a left-handed player. And that's unfortunate for Timo coming all the way from Finland. He's a young player. He'll recover from that. But unfortunate, that probably will end his run at this tournament. Just because, you know, most likely the players that win this tournament will have 1, maybe 2 bogeys at most.
I feel that it was Jeremy Colling famously went OB free a few years ago when he won this event, over 72 holes, and that is certainly one of the recipes to success out here. Our second card is cleared off the green here on the peninsula, hole number 9. We're excited to get to this back half. 10 holes to play here during our third round at the Memorial Championships. Again, we have to think back just 2 days ago, 48 hours ago, we watched Eagle McMahon go a perfect 9 for 9 on the back, which is very doable out here. He would love to maybe channel a little bit of that spirit from Wednesday, see if he can duplicate that effort.
Well, fortunately for Eagle, he has actually had the front 9 that he was probably looking to have back on Wednesday, and if he could connect that with the 9 under that he had from Wednesday, he would be really, I mean, probably in the lead, I would guess. But we're going to be dealing with a little bit of a headwind going back into the clubhouse, so it'll be interesting to see how those holes play.
And once you get past hole number 9, the water should pretty much come up, not be a factor, I should say. That's what I'm trying to spit out, is water really doesn't come into play till hole 18 again. And Eagle's shot is skipping deep and long, and he gets the green flag from one of the amazing spotters out here. We'd like to thank all the staff and crew, Disc Golf Pro Tour, as well as everyone here at the Memorial Championships, Keith Murray, Dan Ginley, and the crew that they assemble year after year. And Simon Lizotte, big air.
Definitely big air, huge spike hyzer, perfect distance as long as it sits. They're still looking at it. There's the green flag. Interestingly enough, the wind is actually making it quite difficult. If these players that were in a backup here watched the guys ahead of them, they probably would have noticed that really getting to the pin is almost unattainable today, and a 3 is really the best you're going to do. Of course, McBeth might tell us different.
Well, just the 1 birdie here on hole number 9. Thus far, McBeth would love to make that 2. And I don't know that he's got an angle for it to get all the way to the pin, but that is a really good-looking shot that takes a huge skip. Will it stay up? He gets the green flag.
No, I believe that's a red flag, J-Dog.
Well, apparently my glasses don't work.
Well, the spotter's in the shade. I don't even know if McBeth saw what color he was holding up, but I believe that was a red flag. We will find out once we get up there. Always an entertaining hole, hole number 9. The players love to get through this one, but the fans love to see anything that can happen once you get out on that peninsula. Does Nikko have the distance here? That's the big question, and he does. Wow, that's a perfect shot from Nikko, actually, on the way the weather is today.
The women were challenged by the women's tee on hole 9. Let's see how they fared. We'll be back in a moment.
Through 8 holes, Paige Pierce is at 9 under par. Jessica Weiss 4 back of her in second place. Sarah Holcomb takes the wide outside gap and parks it on hole number 9. Jessica Weiss throws nearly the same shot, but just not enough. It hits the wall, falls into the water. She's OB. She gets to take it from there. Paige, trying to make sure of her footing, goes with the beach towel we saw on day number 1. but drives it deep of the pin. She's out of bounds.
Go.
And Jennifer Allen wants the spike. Heiser, that also finds the water. That's 3 tee shots out of bounds, while Sarah Holcomb is parked next to the basket. Jen can't save the par. Paige has a long jumper that she's on line with, but short. And Jessica Weiss can save her par. And she's done just that. She'll lose 1 stroke to Holcomb if she can convert. And count it. Great birdie by Sarah Holcomb here on hole number 9. We're moving into the back half at Fountain Hills.
Castro layup. He very quickly gets up and throws a little spin putt. Simon Lizotte is not messing with it. He lays up immediately. And Eagle, who's about circle's edge, it looks like he's prepping to give this a full-blown run. And what do I know? As I turn around, I literally looked away for just a moment. What made him change his mind, Nate?
I think he's really looking at it from the perspective that he's had a good front 9. No real reason to do that right there, especially at this point in the tournament. But let's see, McBeth might be forced to do something here. We could see a potential double OB if he's not on point with this putt.
The right to win, left to win, pushes, and a bogey for Paul McBeth.
Really not the worst outcome. Had he missed that basket completely, he would be looking at probably a 5 at least. And so, yeah, he will not be happy with that. But really, again, for McBeth, he's put in a position now where 9 for 9 is really what he's looking at.
And he rifles that one into the basket from short distance. Understandably frustrated and upset. Not the front 9 he was looking for. We'll see you guys in a few moments from the tee of 10. The Memorial Championships presented by Discraft.
All right, everybody, and we have our winners. Congratulations to Charles Heath of Arizona and John Burchett of West Virginia. You two have some Pro Tour apparel on its way to you. Thank you very much. Become a Patreon. If we hit 100, we will raffle off a mock shift tomorrow at this time. Ha-ha!
moved over to hole number 10, and Eagle McMahon is currently OB, and it's fighting its way back. Not sure if that's going to come all the way back in bounds. It's rolling around on the sidewalk. And Eagle McMahon with a complete misfire here on that right side. We're also lucky that a spectator did not catch that disc as it was firing in. Here's Simon Lizotte. He's going to go higher with this, play more of a spike.
Yeah, definitely Eagle just played the right shot. It was just too low, and Simon's played a great shot. From the perspective of the players, they really need to finish on that right side. These trees have gotten much bigger over the years, and we are seeing that the right side is giving more clear putts. So Simon should have an open putt.
And hole number 10, Nate plays almost exactly at par, coming in at 2.95. You've got to wonder if there's bogeys out here. Is that because of OB, or is that because of just really difficult putts for par?
I think if you're going to see a bogey from any open player out here, it's really just a misfire, probably, most likely, maybe a two or three, or a three putt, obviously. But yeah, that's not surprising. A lot of pars on this one.
McBeth goes driver, and I'm not sure that's going to have enough distance. That looks like it was short out of his hands, but he is on the left side, and he will have an angle. Let's check in with the women.
Your leader, Paige Pierce, off to a slow start at just even par. Jessica Weiss has caught 2 strokes on her, sitting 2 under for the round. Hole number 10 is a wide hyzer for any righty backhander. It's very tough to penetrate and get all the way up to the basket, and even if you do, you're going to have a tree to contend with on every angle. Nice wide hyzer. We'll see if that gives her a look at a putt. Jennifer Allen, huge advantage with the power. She's asking for it to come back. That's going to be short. Meanwhile, Paige, she's got tricks out there just scooting around.
That's nice.
She says it's nice. I think she's looking for a Razor scooter sponsor. And Paige has a great look at birdieing off the top of the basket. Sarah Holcomb's throwing her approach and comes up short on her putt. She walks away with a bogey here on hole 10 and gives back the stroke she earned on 9.
It's just really a case of Eagle taking his medicine. He had to play that out to the left side. There's really no way to attack the pin from where he was at. He's going to walk away with the bogey 4.
Yeah, there was a short conversation with whether he crossed in bounds up closer to the basket, which is actually quite important in this situation where he may have been able to make that putt. But I think the call was right, and he laid it up and get a bogey.
Drills that one in. He's going to need something to get him started here on this back 9. He's quickly falling off the pace. Let's see if that can get him going.
And that putt wasn't even all that solid, but it did go in for him. Maybe that is just what he needs.
And Simon with 1 foot on the circle 1 line is in for the birdie. Nikko Locastro again put himself in the prime position here for birdie. Left side of the pin where there's less trees. He has really nothing obstructing him, unlike being on that right side.
Yeah, I did mention back at the tee how maybe the right side was better, but now that I'm seeing where these guys ended up, the left side is really, really good.
And Nikko knew it right out of his hands that just wasn't enough power. We're going to see a pair of birdies, a par by Nikko, and a bogey here by Eagle McMahon. Plenty of score separation. We talked about that here on hole number 10. We'll be back with you in a few moments after a short walk to hole 11.
Hey there, I'm Keith Murray, Tournament Director of the Memorial Championship presented by Discraft. We're at Spinners on the Green in Scottsdale, Arizona. I just want to welcome everybody here to town. Good luck this week. Come by and see us at the shop. We got 10% off for all tournament competitors and even the folks coming out to watch. So check us out online as well, spinnersonthegreen.com, and have fun watching Smashbox TV.
And Simon Lizotte was ready to throw, and then he was distracted by a member in the gallery, and that's fading left.
Oh, it hit the
But
tree.
It hits the tree.
Oh, wow.
What in the wow?
Yeah.
Simon Lizotte's going to have to start calling these trick shots off of tires, off of trees. That was an incredible hit.
You know, he spent a couple of weeks, or about a week in Los Angeles doing some trick shots. That was awesome. Good for Simon.
I think he spent too much time in Vegas. Again, maybe with luck like that, not enough time in Vegas. McBeth is fading left. He needs the same kick that Simon got. He doesn't get it. And that goes all the way toward the OB sidewalk. And the gallery is silent. That is a complete misfire by McBeth.
It's interesting. I don't know if he's out of bounds. It looked like it hit somebody. We didn't see it sneak through there, so he might have gotten a little bit lucky there. But McBeth just does not look right at all today.
And Nikko's playing the turnover here. He's going to play the full flex shot. And we're confirming that McBeth, the previous shot, was in fact out of bounds. Nikko is short. They're throwing into a headwind. That's a dangerous play by Nikko to be trying to throw that turnover.
Yeah, I think he played an overstable disc, and it's, you know, Eagle's showing us how strong his sidearms bend, and he's going to go with the sidearm here. You will see that on the women's coverage. Paige Pearson ended up on that right side. We'll see how that she does, and then we'll see how Nikko can follow up from there. Beautiful looking shot here. Just perfect.
Love it. Let's check in with the women from hole 11.
Hold for the players, please.
Hole number 11, as Paige Pierce is sitting at 8 under par. Jessica Weiss still 3 back. Weiss playing her power forehand. She's going to play the side of the hill, see if she can skip it up. Not enough power. We've seen Paige Pierce out drive hole 11. This time she puts it on the right side, keeps it low, not much of a skip. She'll have to contend with a single tree in front of the basket. And again, Jennifer Allen with a release that's too high. She says it as it comes out of her hand. She may need to make an adjustment moving into the back half. And Holcomb's going to have to use everything she can to get it there, but just like earlier, she turns it over. She comes up just short of the OB. Sarah Holcomb could have used a little bit more space on that right side. We'll talk about the mini placement later. New rules here in 2018. And Weiss with a sit down after it hits front basket. Page with the only birdie opportunity left, and she cards it. Short and easy downhill, hole 12 coming up next.
As we were walking up the fairway, Nate Simon said, I feel like I can throw just about anywhere and something's going to happen. Well, he's riding that wave of good luck right now.
Well, I think Simon has a great outlook on things right now. He seems happy. He seems smiling. He just needs to stay focused, follow up with what he's doing. I think he's going to be in perfect position going into tomorrow. Of course, we still have a lot left to go here. Interestingly, though, I just have to mention about McBeth. It doesn't seem like things are right today. I don't want to mention too much about him, but you know, he is one of our greatest players, and it's always interesting. I've been there many times when you have a rough round, you just don't know how to get away from it. And you know, Paul's all right. In the background here, we can see the fountain is going off. Beautiful look there. We did see Paige Pierce make this putt in her round. Let's see if Nikko can follow up.
And Nikko with the downhill jumper, and that's gotten up and started to roll on him. Some would refer to that as a tournament roll. And that is now going 60 feet. This may go all the way to the OB. It stops short. And Nikko has more than 70 feet uphill, now putting for three. What a turn of events here.
Perfect example of just why. We asked the question why. Why did that happen? Nikko gave it a great run. I mean, he almost did everything he should have done. It just hit the top there. And unfortunately, that's what these greens out here can do. I mean, we're on a little bit of a hill here. He's going to be frustrated no matter what happened there. But this is just, he's going to take his time here, which I think is smart. But it would be a miracle for him to make this one, T-Dog.
I've seen him make some crazy putts, and we know he's no stranger to playing aggressive. Looks like he's maintained his composure, and what a frustrating break for Nikko Locastro. I think we're going to see a little bit of an approach spin toss at this, more than a putt, so to speak. I think a little bit nose up. He's got to control the angle here.
Yeah, coming directly back into the headwind. It's a tough one to get all the way to the pin, and that tight green with those two palm trees is really, this is a 1 out of 100 maybe.
And he does hit one of the palm trees. He kicks just a few feet to the right, so he will move away with the bogey 4 here. And Eagle McMahon, we'll see if Eagle uses his few extra inches he gets here with the 2018 rules.
Yeah.
He's outstretched to his left, and he's going to confirm. Now, that's a great move. He's going to confirm with his group that he does have a legal stance, and those long outstretched legs to the left should be to his advantage here. Although, even though he's reaching out that far, you can tell he's still going to have an awkward putt.
Well, you can see as a player, he still wants his foot behind that disc, but this is a very important putt for him. He nailed it. It's important because he did bogey the last hole, but to follow it up with a birdie in a situation where 2 of his playing competitors just took bogeys, that's good for him, and it keeps him up to speed with Lizotte still being 3 behind.
And who would have guessed that we'd have seen 2 birdies and 2 bogeys here on hole number 11? Not something you would have anticipated. But thanks to UDisc Live, you guys can follow along, check out your best players. Nate Sexton seems to be shooting hot as he did yesterday. Follow him and others. We're going to move on to the short and very birdieable hole number 12, a must-get as Simon's lucky shot taps in. We'll see you on 12. Simon Lizotte ready to get up and throw. That's a putter. He needs about 90% more power as he turns and kind of chuckles to himself.
Well, again, wind meter presented by Nate Doss. We're looking at it. They've articulated now to where the wind is actually right to left. And it'll be interesting. The fans back home should be watching whether they go inside that palm tree or outside. I anticipate that all 4 of them will go outside. But when you go outside, it brings in a little bit more touch. Eagle is inside. He went outside, but he went to the left of the basket. That just shows you how strong the wind really is.
I gotta say, Nate, these two worked out for like 2 weeks overseas, and they're both coming up short on a 260-foot downhiller. Come on, guys, let's get it there.
Well, Teapot, we all can't be as strong as you are. You know, they're trying to play the touch shot on there, but McBeth goes on the inside, playing a little bit of a straight shot, and again, wow, I don't know what to say.
The 3 of them collectively have not yet reached the pin. If you were to add up all the distance, I'm not sure what's going on here. I know they're trying to stay away from the OB, and I know I'm gently giving them a hard time here, but those are 3 very, very unimpressive drives thus far.
Well, I think it's our job to give them a hard time. I've been playing here for a very long time. I've never seen anybody hit that tree on this hole. So, a 4-time world champion, I'm very surprised. Guy who's won this tournament many times. Let's see if Nikko can at least do something for us.
Wow, that could carry OB if it doesn't stick.
Wow. Okay, that did stick. Interesting play from these 4.
Let's see how the women did on 12.
You got to count on getting hole 12. Paige Pierce still with the lead, 9 under par. Kona still the hot round, sitting at 4 under, a few cards back. Easy hyzer. Paige hangs it out to the right, plays the skip down to the basket. The only mistake here is to go long and find OB sidewalk. And that does not skip like Weiss was planning for. And Jen plays it even wider. She's going to go outside the palm tree and not get a skip either. Too much angle. She's glad it's not OB, she says. And another backhand drive by Holcomb. Backhand drive counter at 2.
Okay, so
closer.
Check. Oh.
Okay. Coming up with 180.
Oh. Yeah, I'll text me more too.
And welcome back, as we are actually standing down as the lead card. We're waiting for the chase card to putt out on hole 13. And this is taking a little longer than we'd expect. Ricky Wysocki missed what I would assume was his birdie putt, went over the basket, and then missed his comebacker. So Wysocki taking a bogey. Dave Feldberg just missed from inside 20 feet, maybe inside 15 feet, and he almost knocked himself out. As he...
The typical Dave head slam. It's frustrating for any player, but what I can tell you from the player's perspective right now, Terry, is that the pressure is building. The wind is actually, that beautiful day we had when we started, the wind is actually very gusty right now. Good for James Conrad to put that in, but things are really building right now. We're seeing 4 guys here in the lead card kind of have trouble with this hole.
And Paul McBeth continues to wait again. These players taking a little longer than we would have expected on 13, as McBeth is waiting to throw his shot. And Paul is turned and ready to go.
Here's Paul for his upshot. It's at this point he's just we need to lay it in there, and I think he's done that for the most part.
A little bit of chaos and confusion here on the 12 and 13 interchange. I think we'll get back up to speed here. And Simon Lizotte has at least, well, he's just about at circle 2, and he lays it up, maybe not feeling confident, putting downhill. We've seen a lot of crazy things happening, and rather than Simon giving away any more strokes, I think McBeth's even going over to ask him, what are you doing? You're laying that up.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Terry, again, from the player's perspective, I get the feeling, I'm getting the sense that things are getting a little bit loose right now. As I mentioned back when we were on 9, we are playing back into the headwind. Just makes things tricky on these holes. Wow, awesome putt for Eagle. It's exactly what he needed to do. That was a big moment right there.
I am waiting for some excitement and some stellar play here. We've just been just punished with watching a few really bad shots. Dave Felberg, a few moments ago, we watched him miss from inside 15. It rolled, and he missed even that one.
Yeah, again, there's a sense right now of things going on the course, but, you know, that putt by Eagle is exactly what he needed to do. He really might change the way that things might play out here on the last 6 or 7 holes.
Ricky Wysocki famously uses the word momentum, and I think the momentum is swirling at the moment. No one can really just go out and grab what's going on. In the meantime, we see Simon and Paul tap out. We'll be back with you on 13 in a few moments.
Stays up here.
Welcome back to an elevated basket here on hole number 13. Eagle McMahon with a great putt on the previous hole. And that's a unique play. I know there's a lot of different ways you can attack this as he gets just past the pin, looking at less than 20 feet. We see a lot of low-line skips, but occasionally we'll see a little bit more creativity, and Eagle's done just that.
Yeah, taking the shot through the gap of the tree, I think is a pretty good play, especially with this wind. Again, it's going to be kind of a tailwind for them now. This one might get a little bit pushed, but it's got enough angle and going to roll out a tad, but makeable putt for Nikko.
He's about the same distance as we saw from McMahon. Simon Lizotte teeing third. He's taking a similar route that we saw from Eagle, and in a slightly better result maybe, and he's going to be just a few feet from his teammate.
Yeah, so all that swirling that we saw just about 3 or 4 minutes ago, we're seeing these guys kind of curl it in, put it inside the circle. Hopefully they can make some putts and just really kind of put all that stuff that just happened behind them.
And McBeth comes up very short. Let's see how the women attack 13.
We'll hang out behind the pin on 13, which is a low tee shot, very low angle. You're going to play the skip, as Weiss is doing here. It sits on top of a small hill plus an elevated pin, and Weiss has a great look at birdie. And a nearly identical shot by Jennifer Allen. Holcomb's got a totally different look, going with the forehand, and she's got to throw her approach right next to the pin, but it gets up and rolls, leaving her a tester to the elevated basket. This is to save her par while the other three are looking at birdies. And off the front, Cage gets the roll. She'll make that, but she'll be walking away with a bogey.
And a great putt by Paul McBeth. We keep thinking, okay, that might be it. That's going to turn this thing around, but he's running out of holes. We're on 13, and he is falling back. Great putt. Let's hope he can keep that going.
Yeah, it was interesting to see his reaction there. He wasn't all that excited, but that's the Paul McBeth we know, making that type of putt. You know, when players of that caliber play like this, they get in a very dark place. He needs to just relax. He can still get a lot of birdies. Great putt by Eagle there. But going back to McBeth, he just needs to relax, release, play, and get these birdies coming down the finish and give himself an opportunity to be in it tomorrow. Knowing Paul McBeth, he's still going to be a factor in this tournament.
And Nikko for the third birdie in 3 tries here from this lead card. And as you would expect, 4 for 4. We got a start frame on 13. We'll see you on 14 in a few moments.
We've made it here to the final 5 holes. That's Eagle throwing his sidearm. Yeah, he put himself in decent position there. We just watched the second group play this hole not too long ago, and we saw a few guys go left, down towards the OB. That's kind of the mistake you don't want to make. Players are throwing into a headwind here, so they're really just trying to pick their angle out there on the hyzer angle and just put that perfect hyzer line on it and skip it right up to the basket. As the disc's in the air, from my perspective, that looks to be great. As long as it takes a nice skip for him. And he's done just that. That's a great shot by Nikko. It's exactly what he needed to do. Calm down a little bit. Just so the fans know, T-Dog is actually putting a post out there for everybody. Share this. Get to watching the live coverage. Simon goes with the humongous hyzer over the big pine tree. It's got tons of angle. It's not going to skip much. A little bit short there. Probably outside the circle, but the way he's been putting, we should probably see a good run, if not a make. Again, disc in the air here. We're seeing it come in. It looks to be good. Oh, wow, takes a huge skip, but actually checks up nicely. He'll have a nice uphill putt.
Hole 14 plays downhill. You got Obi on the left side. Jennifer Allen, full power, reaching back. It turns over, and it's going to hook up. She's asking for the ace. She's going to have to be happy with a drop-in birdie from 5 feet away. Paige Pierce wide to the right. If she can find the top of the hill, she still might get a skip, and it does just that. She still has a long look at birdie from there. Jessica continues to rely on the backhand drive and hangs it wider right than Paige, and not the skip. Not much you can do from there except for layup. Holcomb's turned over a number of her forehand drives, but this one's hooking up. And she'll have a long look from there. If it doesn't trickle to the OB, it stays safe. And Paige Pierce has trees to contend with, and she's running it down. Paige Pierce with the best putt of the round thus far. And Jen Allen takes the birdie as well. 2 birdies, 2 pars. We're through 14.
And what a solid putting stroke by Eagle. You could tell that he wasn't going to let that flutter or even think about that low-hanging branch. Very confident stroke.
Yeah, interesting. I actually thought McBeth was out, just so that fans know. They are all inside the circle. I was, tough to judge from back down there, but they all are inside the circle. That was a good putt by Eagle. See if Paulie can follow up that good putt from the last hole.
And he's done just that. And I told you yesterday, Nate, the pro move here is just randomly blurt out words. They'll yell at you later, whether you're right or wrong. Here's Simon for birdie.
Boom. There we go. Simon, follows up again with that good putting stroke, just as Eagle did underneath that branch. Not even a question for either one of them.
And let's talk about putting for a moment as Nikko lines up that putt by Paige Pierce. Are you kidding me? Here on 14.
That was absolutely incredible. We were watching that. We couldn't. She knew it was in too. She chased it in. 4 birdies on this one. That's awesome.
We'll head to 15.
I'm Ricky Wysocki, and I'm wondering who's going to be the next generation.
If you didn't take the next gen tour seriously, you definitely should come in future years, because it's only going to get better.
Yeah, man. Let's do this, guys.
They're up and coming superstars.
Go to a local level, then you qualify for your regional level, then you qualify for a national level. The prizes get bigger, and the pressure gets tougher.
I just, I get goosebumps thinking about it. It was a really, really good time.
Nate, we're catching up with what I believe is our 3rd card here on hole number 16. I see Austin Turner, Grady Shue, along with Peter McBride and Anthony Barella. Grady was just putting for birdie a moment ago. This will be for par.
Yeah, the Young Guns group here. We just saw Grady miss his putt there. Going to be frustrated for him. He actually showed a little frustration after that putt. This is a hole that we're going to be here in one hole after this, but it's one that you have to birdie. It's just a must get.
The collective age of that group comes to only about 75, maybe 78 for those 4 young guns, as you mentioned. Pretty impressive. We're ready on 15. And is this just a bomber's dream here on hole number 15? Eagle McMahon, raw, pure hyzer the whole way. Comes up short. Doesn't get a skip.
Well, it's interesting. I don't know if he's actually short. He might be a little bit past pin high. Funny enough, watching Eagle play, he didn't even recognize that these players were in his way to the left. He's just locked in. We've seen that a lot from Eagle. I want to figure out with Eagle whether his hat's forward or backwards, what he's thinking. He's now got it back forwards. He threw that last drive with it backwards, so.
And Nikko has to avoid the one tree in the fairway, and he gets past it. He's going to have a great look at birdie from there. What an impressive drive by Nikko. Just getting past that tree, though.
Yeah, a little bit lucky. He kind of flirted with that tree more than he needed to, but, you know, honestly, these guys are just lining up. Nikko's questioning my call, but, you know, that's, he knew he had it the whole way.
And Lizotte does a twirl off the tee. He knows he's pulled that right, but it still looks like it's going to fight hard. He'll have a good look. His putting stroke's on.
I think one thing we need to remember is that for Eagle and Simon, they really are not, a full out throw would put them long here, so they're kind of playing like a game with how much height they put on it and how much angle.
Nate, you don't have to tell me about backing off on 500-foot holes. I hear you loud and clear, and McBeth looks to be dialing it in. It sticks, and we'll see how the women did earlier on 15.
Time to stretch it out on hole number 15. Paige Pierce extending her lead with the birdie. She's got 4 on second place, Jessica Weiss. And Jennifer Allen has plenty of room here. Surprised to see her hang that so far out. Paige with an extra stutter step. She's going full power.
Go. Get in it.
Asking for the ace. She'll come up short. She's going to have a putt from the left side, which is the right place to be. And Jessica gets a full turn, but it flexes back just too early for her. She's going to be short and left with a layup. Sarah Hokum, center fairway. That's layup zone all day long. Paige Pierce takes a knee, wide open basket, and back to back. Great putts here on hole number 15. Paige's putter's heating up. We're through 15.
As we approach the green here on hole number 15, I think Nate and I are both equally shocked seeing that Paul McBeth is actually short.
I'm not all that shocked, Terry. When he threw that shot, this is a very deceiving look. He just didn't throw it full power, and it just came up a little bit short. This is a tough putt, but you know what? If Paul could make this, it's going to give him a boost of confidence going into the last 3 holes. You know, this is probably, even for a great player like Paul McBeth, this is probably a 50-50 putt.
And Paul catches himself as his foot slips from under him. We'll see if he can regroup. Slippy, then he completely regrouped. What concentration.
Yeah, I don't have much to say there. He just said 50-50, I'll take 100 out of 100, but good for Paulie. He needed to make that.
And Lizotte comes up just a bit short. Uphill putt with a little bit of wind, and you see that same stroke we saw on the previous hole. Firm and consistent. Great putt by Eagle McMahon, as you said. He seems to be dialed in. And Nikko with a park job on hole number 15. And Simon takes the lone par. What's going on? We'll see you on 16.
The Dynamic Disc Recruit is a tournament quality basket at a practice level price. The Recruit is the ultimate basket for backyard practice or temporary courses. Get ready for tournaments. Get better. Get the Recruit.
And Eagle McMahon really has to let off on this one. This one's just over 300 feet. I believe it's almost exactly 100 meters for all our international players.
Nice conversion there, T-Dog.
When it's an even 100 meters, I think I got it.
Avery will probably be back at home and measuring that out and figuring out it exactly. Not much to say on this hole. It's just a basic hyzer. They all want to birdie this. I have to mention how interesting it is being out here. Wow, and he almost aced that. A little bit long, rolling out, but he'll be inside the circle. I have to mention how interesting it is being out here, being one of these competitor that usually plays against these guys. Nikko got a little worked up back there. He heard me say the word lucky, and he said I didn't know what I was talking about. But, you know, he proved us wrong. He was parked, so he knew what he was doing. Easy peasy.
No problems for Paul McBeth. Simon, the lone par on hole 15. If I was a betting man, I would have never said, well, there's going to be one par, and it'll be Simon on that hole.
Well, it's interesting because of the way this tournament lays out, but he gave a little crack in the armor, and now he's long on this one. So we're going to see how this all plays out.
Let's head to the women on 16.
Hole 16 is a must-get birdie in the women's division. Paige Pierce riding a birdie train, back-to-back bird. She hangs it wide and almost hits the basket. This is a routine hyzer. Jennifer Allen's going to play it a little bit lower but not get the skip. She's going to have a long putt from there. Not much wind out here in the Fountain Hills course. Much warmer than the opening round on Wednesday. And Jessica Weiss is looking at a birdie. Sarah Holcomb's third backhand drive of the day is not the one that works. She misses the Mando. She's got a re-tee, and she looks like she's just going to squeak past the Mando. She's taking a penalty for the miss mandatory. She's trying to save, and not enough power. Jennifer Allen from outside the circle takes the birdie on 16.
And no problems. Simon was great concentration. There was a number of us almost in his direct line.
One word, boom. That was him dropping the hammer, showing that he's still the leader of this tournament.
Interesting to see McMahon not really give that a good run at all.
Well, I have to tell you, Terry, that it is difficult to putt at a basket that is completely not surrounded by anything. There's nothing within 150 feet of this hole. And sometimes as a player, you feel like you just lined up, but even being off just by 6 inches makes it an air ball.
Sometimes not having any visual references like a tree or a bush, I completely understand. I'd rather have an obstructed putt myself than have a completely wide open field to be putting on.
It takes a lot of practice to get used to putting in the wide open. That's why they really just want to park this hole, so it's not too much of a big deal.
Oh, and Nikko frustrated with himself. He didn't give that one enough power for the birdie putt here on 16. Overhead, I'm seeing James Conrad throw a huge shot on 17's tee. Eagle's going to clean up here for par. And he's done just that. McBeth closest to the pin, in fact, just 3 or 4 feet from the pin.
Yeah, Paulie did what you want to do. He played it just enough out to the right to where the skip just carried over. Little spin roll, park job. Gotta say, it's beautiful out here. The crowd is just enjoying everything going on.
Ricky Wysocki throwing overhead at the moment. We'll be back with you guys in a few moments from the beautiful view on top at hole 17.
Tempercraft, USA. Double wall 18/8 stainless steel construction keeps it cold while you're hot, keeps it hot while you're cold. Get your customized growlers, tumblers, and sports bottles. With a lifetime warranty and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft, USA. Temper your thirst.
Nate, it's our favorite time. We're bringing them bonus coverage of the chase card. All the action you guys could possibly stand and more. Nate Doss joining me, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. We're at Fountain Hills, Arizona. I'm glad you guys are tuned in. Make sure you as the 2018 Disc Golf Pro Tour kicks off here in Fountain Hills. And Nate, quite an uncharacteristic turn of events here. We've seen some unusual play a little bit, namely by our four-time world champ, Paul McBeth.
Yeah, Paul's given us some to talk about, definitely, but ultimately, really, we've kind of seen what we would come to expect from these players, still shooting somewhere near double digits, I think. I haven't looked at the scorecard recently, but we're definitely getting there with with only 2 holes to play. We have James Conrad putting here. It looks about 45 feet as we're back at the tee. A little bit of a jump, chains out left, it looked like. When we come back to the tee pad here, when the fans get to see it, it's just an absolutely beautiful view, breathtaking view. Unfortunately, we're not going to see the fountain go off. It was just going about just short of 40 minutes ago, so we probably will not see it within this group. But the view of the Tonto Mountains is just beautiful, absolutely breathtaking. All the spectators, all the fans. Disc golf is growing around the world, and these players, and including myself, really get up for this type of stuff, T-Dog. We love playing in front of the crowds. It's what we always dreamt as kids, and we're really so appreciative of all the fans being out here supporting disc golf.
Well, hole number 17 has come in, and we're looking at 29% of our field here has played this under par, 64% playing at par, and 7% above par. So this hole comes in at the 10th most difficult, playing at 2.79. So at nearly 500 feet, of course, playing downhill. We've seen quite a few birdies out here, and this is a good one to have a little momentum moving into that 18th hole, which is the first time we really see the water come back into play.
Yeah, well, we have a great view here of the water, but this hole is just so technical, really. Even though it's 500 feet, you really have to hit your angle, hit your line. We've seen a little commotion going on. We have Dave Felberg putting here. Looks like he's going to go for a jump putt through the trees. Oh, and he goes down to his knees short, Felberg, the showman. Really, Dave, that's just a missed putt, but he wanted it to go in, you know, looking at the last couple of holes. Ricky lining up real quick. Slams it in there as Ricky does. But going back to this hole and seeing birdies and pars on it, it is just one of those types of holes where the players want to birdie it, especially with 18 being quite daunting of a hole with the OB coming back into play. But it's one of those holes, I swear, I bet that I'm less than 50% on this hole. But it's gettable, but one that sometimes gives people a little bit of trouble.
Well, as we're looking at the scores, talking about implications for our lead card during the final round, we're seeing, of course, Simon Lizotte 12 under par, 32 overall, Eagle McMahon at 30, Nikko Locastro at 28, and the hottest round that's in the clubhouse is, again, Nate Sexton. Nate Sexton had the tie for the hottest round yesterday at 13 under par. Today he's in the clubhouse at 12 under par. He's moved up another 11 spots. Here's Paul McBeth. Looks like a pretty good move by McBeth. Maybe finishing a bit left.
He is frustrated. That's left and short. But he actually has a nice angle because he's out of the way of the trees.
If you're going to miss left or right, definitely left is the preferred place to be. I think he's got a very makeable putt. Here's Simon Lizotte. Simon plays it much wider. Is that just pure power?
I think so. I think he's actually just trying to do exactly what I said. Control the power. He's a little short. If we actually see that disc land, which we just did, we know he's short. He didn't get the pop on that one that he needed. Because of the way the green is, the way it goes down, if we don't see it, we know it's close. If we see it, it's up on the flat. Here's Eagle doing the same. He looks short as well, but he gets the forward skip. Wow, that had a lot of action on it, didn't it, T-Dog?
It did, and it carried just past McBeth on that left side, so his putt will be a little bit longer. We'll see if Nikko goes with Allheiser or if he turns this over at all. Nikko keeps it much lower. I like this play. If he can get the skip off that, he could find himself right next to the pin. He'll have a putt from the right side. We'll see after the women on 17.
Just 2 to play, and Paige Pierce, 3 birdies in the last 3 holes. She's out to 12 under par and trying to pull away from the field. Paige Pierce even surprising the cameraman, driving it way past where he's positioned, and she is pin high here on hole 17. Jennifer Allen has plenty of power but doesn't get enough turn on that. That's going to hyzer out short and left. Jessica Weiss keeps it lower. Not enough turn. She's also going to be short and left. Paige's distance really proving how much of an advantage it is here. And Sarah Hokum does turn her forehand over, but right into the ground. She's got work to do. Meanwhile, Paige Pierce is lining up a birdie from outside the circle and gets it. Paige Pierce is on fire, getting the last 4 holes, trying to close this out on Friday's round. Great birdie by Pierce. The rest will par.
And again, the positioning here is so critical. You can throw it nearly 500 feet but have no putt. Eagle McMahon able to take the birdie. And Simon could see, I'd say about 3/4 of the basket, and brought it in perfectly with a hyzer putt.
He didn't even take half of a second on that. He knew what he was going to do, and he just went for it. One thing I want to mention, Eagle yet again following up a mistake, missed putt, with a good putt on the next hole. He's done that all round long, which is awesome to see.
And Nikko's straddle putt somehow comes out. He's wondering how that could happen.
I think it goes to show you, T, as you mentioned, positioning is so important. Simon had a tree in his way, but it was open. He'd go closer to the basket, but had the tree in his way. Paul McBeth is wide open putting here, about 20 feet.
And McBeth birdies hole number 17. That's going to push him to 28 under par. He's going to need to birdie hole number 18 if he wants to remain on the lead card. Nikko's got a short comebacker. And he cleans up. We're moving on to see the hole 18 in just a few moments. And we're here, Nate, on our 54th hole. That's some quick math. You'll learn how to do that too once you get in the commentator booth long enough. 54th hole of the tournament. Simon Lizotte with a lead, sitting at 33 under par. Is this his event to win?
I think it is. I really do believe that it is. He proved that he's playing well, especially after that round he shot at Vista del Camino yesterday. He's primed and ready. But these guys are not ready to give up. There's a lot that can happen. He's going to be nervous. It's always tough to be in the lead going into the final round.
McBeth on the tee. If he birdies this, he remains on the lead card for final round.
He's wanting it to flip over a little bit more, but does it have enough distance to get out there? And it doesn't.
What a mistake there by Paul McBeth. It crested the inbounds area. However, he finds himself in the water. This is Simon Lizotte. He should play this very wide and safe. And Simon taking a route to take the water completely out of play. We'll see if he gets any kind of skip down toward the pin, and he does. So he'll still be looking at a birdie opportunity. That was a very conservative yet powerful throw.
It was. He got lucky. He actually hit the drier grass up there and took a big skip, put himself in a position to make a putt. Eagle's going to take the same route. Exactly the same route. Let's see how he handles it.
So much power, and that has a little bit better angle, but it's going to have to sit when it hits. It gets the skip. next to the pin, and he's looking at a very short uphill putt for birdie. We'll see Eagle, of course, tomorrow on the lead card. Just a matter of how many back of Simon.
That's a statement right there. He just said, I'm here to play. I'm ready for tomorrow. Eagle is locked in. It's always nice to hit on a good shot.
And like the rest of us, Nikko squinting on the tee pad. He's going for a lower right side route. We'll see if he gets a skip. He finds himself what should be in bounds. Let's see how the women did on 18 to close out the day.
Pierce moves to 13 under par and has 6 strokes on Jennifer Allen and 7 strokes on third place Jessica Weiss. Hole 18 features a ladies basket, and Pierce is going to play the hyzer. Little bit of a skip, and what a way to cap off the round with a park job on 18. Jen Allen's in great position. We'll see her on the lead card come final round on Saturday. That's short and right. Jessica Weiss is going to go back to the forehand, play it out over the water, and has a good look at birdie. And Holcomb's asking for it to sit. She's looking at a birdie. Jessica from inside 25 feet. Closing out her day, she's moving into the lead card, or remaining, I should say, on lead card come Saturday. Holcomb birdies to finish. Allen's next to the basket for her par. And Paige Pierce finishes out 5 birdies on the last 5 holes. She's looking for her 6th win at the Memorial Championships presented by Discraft.
And Nikko Locastro from 75 feet, looking downhill, gives it a run, hits off the top of the basket, and then it rolls into the water. That's going to hurt when you go to bed tonight.
Second time this round where we've seen Nikko had good runs at a putt, and it just not work out for him. It's going to be tough. I would expect that he's going to go and putt 100 times after this round's over.
And Simon Lizotte with a very impressive performance out here today. He's going to have the lead, the outright lead, by a handful. Simon Lizotte is 14 under on the round. He's sitting at 34 under par. And right now, Eagle McMahon sits at 31 under par. Both Sexton and Locastro and McBeth 28 going into the final hole.
We have to remember Eagle is parked, so he's really at 32. Here's McBeth. There's par. Oh.
And McBeth takes the bogey here on the final hole. He had a great chance to save that. And Nikko, this is no to save either.
I want all the fans out there to recognize that in this case, the water it'll be. So when these guys take their meter, they have to stand on that angled gunite. It's almost a double. Yeah, just the gun. Years, but let's see if Nikko can handle the stance. Always more difficult with your feet falling back. He's got to make sure to keep it elevated. He's been short on a few putts. Oh no.
And Nikko's hits the basket and rolls. It's not going to find the OB. What a turn of events, and this nightmare is not over for Nikko just yet here on hole number 18. What that will secure is Paul McBeth remaining on the lead card for tomorrow, even if Nikko can complete this. I expect Nikko to make this. And Nikko hits off the top. He is beside himself, raising his hands up to the sky. Not what we'd expect from Nikko Locastro. Meanwhile, a strong finish here for Eagle McMahon, waiting to putt out. Nate, let's move into position, and we'll see. It's going to almost be uncomfortable knowing who we're going to talk to, anyone other than Simon out here. What a day for these guys, as Nikko's going to tap in. And he's going to pick up and move on. He talked about focus and concentration yesterday. We're going to stand down for just a few moments. The gallery's going to situate themselves. We're also going to watch the scorecard get added up. And then from there, Nate, you and I will come back. We'll talk with someone, likely Simon, our leader after the day. But real quick, any final thoughts from what you saw here today?
Well, real quickly, I mean, it was a fun day, I would say, really. Honestly, to watch the way that Simon played, I think he really just put his stamp of approval on his round and what this tournament's really going to be for him. I think this is his to lose at this point in time. But really, Eagle McMahon coming off of a win last week, who knows what can happen. And really, I think that's why it's nice to have this to be the final round. But talking about today, it was very frustrating, or, you know, I think to watch McBeth play the way that he did, frustrating for him, not for us so much. More entertaining, I guess. But overall, it was a great day. The fans were great. And, you know, again, it's been nice to have this perspective watching disc golf from this, I guess, outside the ropes, but inside the ropes a little bit. It's been a lot of fun so far.
It has, and thank you so much again for joining us. We're going to say goodbye to you, and after the scorecards are added up, I'll likely catch up with Simon Lizotte. Everyone's got to know. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on the mic.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I wouldn't... Can't change my plans now, T-Dog. Me and Teriyaki here are going to be hanging out all day tomorrow. Again, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. One thing to really remember is that there is a lot more trouble out there tomorrow, and the OBs can loom. There's going to be a lot of pressure. Even though we had a big tournament last weekend, this tournament means a lot to these players. And Simon Lizotte has had a chip on his shoulder for a few years now, I think, really trying to put his stamp on American disc golf, being from Germany. He's a great friend of mine. I'm really looking forward to seeing it all go down. And let's see if Eagle can say, I'm here and I'm here to stay. He's also had a chip on his shoulder, kind of coming up a little bit short over the last couple of years in a lot of different events. So overall, I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, let's have a good day tomorrow.
All right. Well, that's Nate Doss. We're going to let these guys add up their scorecards. We're going to see a few highlights and a few words from our sponsors, and we'll be back with you with Simon Lizotte in just a few moments. Stay tuned.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job. Go in. Oh.
For me, it's all about the exercise.
For me, it fits into my busy lifestyle.
For me, it's my passion.
For us, it doesn't cost much to play.
For me, it's fun.
Weird from our perspective.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Joining me now is our leader in Simon Lizotte. And Simon, you were just saying it was kind of a weird round for you. Nothing could go wrong?
I got a couple of really lucky breaks. My tire hit was amazing, I've heard, and then my palm tree hit back there. And the putter was just feeling like the basket was like 20 feet wide, so I don't know what's going on.
You only had about 2/3 of the basket to putt out on hole 17. Didn't matter, though. Right in the heart of the chains for you.
That putt was actually easier with the palm trees than it would have been without, because it like framed the basket perfectly. I felt like missing right or left was impossible, so I just had to give it enough speed, and then valley was barely not too high.
All right, so what's the game plan for tomorrow? We're finishing at a different course over at Vista. Normally we finish here.
Yeah.
What's the game plan for tomorrow?
It's weird, like it almost felt like I just won the tournament. And I've been leading this tournament before the final round. This is my 3rd year in a row I think I'm leading before the last round. Or at least it's close, I'm not sure. But yeah, hopefully one of these years I can hold on to my lead now. And I think Eagle and I have like a pretty solid lead up front there, so it's going to be fun tomorrow.
Was there anything that was surprising? I know you had what you said was a weird round, but was there anything surprising out on the card today that you weren't maybe anticipating or expecting?
I mean, anytime you see Paul struggle, it's surprising to me. But it happens. And I'm glad Eagle and I are here to show him that we are here now.
All right. Well, you've had some great off-season training. We're looking forward to seeing you complete this tomorrow. What would a win mean for you if you could come out of the top?
If I beat the Eagle, I'm happy.
All right. No Van.
Well, he won last weekend, so if I win this one, it's just fair.
All right. All right. Well, this is Simon Lizotte. Of course, he is your Elite Lead card tomorrow. We're going to be at Vista del Camino. It's going to be very exciting. Lots of big shots, lots of challenge out there. And Simon wants that win. Well, he at least wants to beat Sanchez, along with Rick Hushane, Johnny V, and Gary Tudillo back at the controls, and our world champion, Nate Dawes, who joined me on the commentary. We can't thank him enough. For Steve Dodge, nice, Keith Murray, and the rest of the Pro Tour, along with the Memorial Championships crew, along with UDisc, all the supporters, all the fans, friends, everyone out there. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy a few highlights. We'll see you tomorrow when you step inside the Smash Box.
heard me or not, but I was like, dude, please, you gotta put this on. I want to play more holes.
I know.
I wanted to see
I
you make
definitely
this.
felt the love. A lot of people were cheering for me, wanting me to make this putt.
Get in there.